we want to rank in a particular city or town, we need to have that page on the website. If you take a look at some of the top performers, first and foremost, we want to take a look at the top performer in maps. And of course, you want to take a look at the top performer. If we take a look here, look at Southwest Florida Pest Control Services. Nowhere does it say anything about the city, right? On the other pages it does, but not on this page. We're talking about all of the services. The services in this particular case are rodents and bugs. All right. Just looking at the top performers for maps, looking at the top performer for organic, we know that on this page, we want to gear the homepage for brand plus in a bigger, broader area. So Southwest Florida, plus we have brand name. Now let's move on from this particular fact. When we're looking at this homepage, there's 3 places that need to be taken care of. We need to have there's 3 things that need to be done no matter what. Let me cover those things. So this way we're going to be very congruent with what the SERP is calling for, along with being properly optimized and getting the maximum benefit. The 3 things that need to be done, and this is for you, brother, are this. So if we know we have this primary location and we know that we're going to go to other locations, I see on here that you have some of the content done for some of the services, aka the bugs that we remove, right? When we come inside of here, we can see, like when we come inside of our pest library, these are actually services. So if you take a look at the primary map winner, we can see that they're listing their bugs, aka their services. The top organic professional is services. And if we take a look at the lead expert in the industry, which is going to be Orkin, I can tell that you are probably modeling, because if you take a look at this color scheme, red, the darker with the gray, and then we come over here, we could see that we have black, red with the gray. You're starting off on the right foot as far as color schematics. This is something that people, the customer, are looking for. They're used to it. So I don't have anything to say there. But where we're missing the boat here is branding plus the bigger picture, which is Southwest Florida. That's going to be homepage. We need to have our locations because we're going to have multiple locations. We need to have a dedicated Fort Myers page instead of making it the homepage. Along with that, we need our itemized list of all of the rodents and or bugs that we remove. So we need to have our services list. So with that being said, we have all of our filler content. So I see that you have all of that, your blog and privacy and forums and careers, and you have some filler content. Great. Most notably, inside the header, inside the footer, and inside the body text, in the homepage, we're going to have header, footer, and we're going to talk about our locations and services within the body content. On our service pages, we have our header, our footer, and then we are going to talk about our services. On our service page, same thing, header, footer, but we're going to talk about our locations. What I mean by talk about is we're going to have anchor text, A tags. So this way we can get a nice congruent flow. Let's go back to the list of what I've seen. So right now we've taken care of our homepage, our services and locations, and our internal linking and our structure. You have all the supporting content and all the filler content that I need. So let's keep moving on. Now, I did a quick little look here. We won't go too deep into this because I want to just give as much value as possible. Now, optimize for location. That's the page. We have to have Fort Myers. You want to target Fort Myers? Got to have a Fort Myers page. Along with that, we have 10 links, pest control, Fort Myers. How did you come to this equation, Chris? So if you take a look here, I took a quick screenshot. All right, brother. When you come inside of here, okay, this is the primary. Fort Myers Pest Control is the primary winner in the organic SERPs. When we're dissecting the majority of anchor text containing the target key phrase, so generally the most powerful links are contained. I've already checked. Their best links are containing the primary anchor text. These are the ones that are primarily moving the boat. It just so happens for this particular site, it's the only anchor text they have. Makes sense. You know, there's some other nonsense, but with that being said, when you take a look here, they have 94 links, but 10 of those domains contain the primary key phrase. So this is a competitive advantage on our behalf. I know we're trying to rank in maps, but note this, the structure of the website, the structure and also the authority that is built off page plays a massive part in our overall ranking and authority inside of maps. Yes, you can do it without it, but why would I want to put myself at a disadvantage? Just because you can doesn't mean that it's optimal. I want to do things at an optimal range, and I know that you do too. So let's keep moving on here. So that's 10 links. We need 10 quality links. The next piece on the list, number 3, in order to take the SERP and take maps, is links from the competitors. I put a star by it because this is a manual action service. What I mean by this is that we need to go into each of the competitors. So competitors being, when we take a look at the actual search term for the primary key phrase, it's a $17 keyword according to Surfer. When I go down the list here and I pull in all of the sites other than, say, your Yelps, we are going to take in Orkin, that primary page. We're going to take Laurel Pest. We're going to take in this Massey Services. We're going to go one by one to these services. It's a do follow link, and I can go and build it. I'm going to have the VA go build it for us. I don't care. Any low-hanging fruit that I can manually go and take that any competitor on the board has, we're going and building it. So that's why that star's there. That's a manual action. This is going to be a time-based billing, all right? For any of those, again, I want to give you a roadmap. Let's move down the list. So service pages. Now, I covered that already. Each of those service pages, they pretty much have them. I would bulk them out based on the SERP. It needs to be semantically congruent. Semantically congruent to what? Well, the service page, okay, we're talking about rodents and mice and ants and all types of stuff. Whatever the SERP is calling for this industry, 500 words, 700 words, whatever that is, we're going to build and match and mirror to that particular specific amount, but at a much higher density, including a lot more entities and a lot more variations. Now, next, this is going to be from the maps ranker. When we take a look here, and I took a quick screenshot so you could see for later, this is the primary winner for maps, which is this particular website. And when you take a look inside of here, you can see that I looked at referring domains. This is the top competitor for inside of maps. And what I found was there is 61 links that are between the range of 50 and 100. Very high authoritative links. According to SEMrush, between the 50 and 100 authoritative mark. So that's 50 to 100 links that are the authority score of 50 plus. All right. So with that being said, these 61 links, all right, that are in this range contain the primary anchor text of Southwest Florida. All right, so it's Southwest Florida, which is what we're going to brand the homepage for, along with our brand name. So you see how this is coming together? So when I look at the leading comps that are against us, winning inside of maps, the most prominent anchor text, right? So these are votes from other sites. These votes from other sites, the anchor text is what the site's about. Okay, this helps Google understand what the site's about alongside of what the words on the page are. So we have to have those words on the page. If the top performers have them, we need to have them, especially including votes from other websites. So those 61 links, these could be diverse because I was looking at the root domain. This could be built to the homepage along with other pages, but the primary two for my high power links that I'm going to build are going to contain either the primary keyword being best control Fort Myers or Southwest Florida and the variations of that. All right, so press releases. So you can go about this multiple ways because you have multiple locations. All right, you're going to have multiple locations. My advice is at least in the very beginning phases to fluff it out because they're going to just be naked, right? Naked URL anchor texts. What I would suggest doing is each of the locations, the top level categories that house all of the services, right, that we're all linking to because it's top level and they're going back and forth. I would build the press releases to each of those locations. So that's ×3. Moving on, ads, Facebook to the GMB. You show that you care about GMB, GMB will care for you, right? Pay Caesar what Caesar's. Yes, you can get a boost from Google. If I pay Google, I'll get a jump, but we're already taking care of the Google guarantee. We're already in there. So you have that checked off the list. So what I would highly recommend is I would go to other platforms. Well, it also works the other way. If I can bring people from other platforms over, I can get a lift. So I highly, 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 highly recommend allocating at least some type of budget to manipulated link types, right? If we want to generate them and force them to do very specific things, which is what we'll do, but I definitely highly recommend allocating over to the account. Let's move on. Content. 15 pieces a month. Now, this is going to be very, very reminiscent of things that are related search terms and also people search for. All right. The surrounding content based on our location tabs. All right. Let me explain to you what I mean by this, and then I have to go. When we come inside of here, okay, and we're looking for pest control people ask for, that's supporting content. Also, when you type in your primary keyword here into Google, when you scroll on down here to related searches, these are absolutely, depending on volume, right, and semantic relation, these are great for supporting pieces of content. So this is what we're going to base at least bare minimum a post every other day. This is minimum. Has to happen. We have to get our traffic threshold up in order to be perceived as an authority. The higher the traffic, the more of an authoritative source we are. The more authoritative we are, the better we rank. Period, end. So it's an absolute must that we have to consistently and persistently be posting. We have to get our traffic authority up. It's a must. If Google's rewarding us with traffic and giving us crawl budget, then we're considered a valuable asset to them. If I can produce eyeballs, then I'm a valuable asset to them. So if I can consistently be getting crawled more, I'm a valuable source. We have to get our traffic up. A site without traffic is nothing. So very key, very, 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 very crucial there. So citations per location, definitely. Now, when we issue our first or top 6, our Yelps, our Apples, our Bing places, those can stay the same. We can do one iteration going to the homepage, but each new location, everything that you did initially, you have to do it for your other locations. If this is important to me, I need to show trust. Digital references referring to that location, citations for each location. You can also make unstructured citations for services, but we'll talk about that in another video. So schema for the page, this is an absolute must. This is a one-off fee. You know, we can talk about schema till we're blue in the face. If you want to be very precise on one particular keyword, schema is the ticket. The next thing is Google My Business optimization for the Fort Myers, of course. You know, you have to do your products and services. Your product is your service is your product. You need optimization, the description, a posting schedule, daily posting schedule. It can be the same post, but again, it's one of those things. You show love to Google, Google will show love to you. Show that you care about that account. I guarantee you better success. My name's Chris Palmer. If you have any other questions related to Google My Business, local SEO local, I mean anything. You want to rank in Google Maps, Google My Business, anything that you need help with, feel free, go ahead, ask in the section below. I have to go meet with little Chris. I love you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you.